In the rush of a city morning, Emma hurried through crowded streets, her phone buzzing with unread emails and notifications. She was a marketing manager, 32, always chasing deadlines, her mind a whirl of to-do lists and worries. Last night she'd barely slept, replaying a tense meeting with her boss, wondering if she'd said the wrong thing. Her coffee spilled as she dodged a cyclist, and she muttered under her breath, feeling the day already slipping from her grasp. This was her life lately, a storm that never seemed to settle. At home, her apartment was quiet, but her thoughts were not. She scrolled through social media, comparing herself to friends' perfect lives, feeling hollow. Even her weekends, meant for rest, were filled with errands or anxious planning for Monday. Emma wasn't alone in this. So many of us feel this way, trapped in a cycle of stress, pulled by demands we can't escape. We live in a world that moves too fast, where success is measured by what we achieve, not how we feel. Our minds race, our hearts grow heavy, and we wonder if peace is even possible. But there's a teaching, ancient yet timeless, that speaks to this very struggle. In Buddhism, there's a truth called impermanence. Everything changes. Nothing lasts forever. The stress we feel often comes from clinging to things we can't control. A perfect job, a flawless life, or a future we can't predict. Emma didn't know this yet, but her journey was about to begin. One evening, exhausted, she sat on her couch, staring at the city lights. She felt a quiet ache, a longing for something she couldn't name. What if, she wondered, there was a way to find calm, not by changing her life, but by changing how she saw it? This question, simple yet profound, is where peace begins. The Buddha taught that suffering arises when we resist the flow of life, when we fight change or hold too tightly to what we think we need. Imagine a river, always moving, never still. If you try to grasp the water, it slips through your fingers. But if you let it flow, you find ease. Emma's stress, like ours, came from grasping, trying to control her work, her image, her fears. The first step, then, is to see this clearly. To pause and notice the storm within, not with judgment, but with kindness. Tonight, as you listen, take a slow breath. Feel the air move through you, gentle and steady. This is where Emma's story starts, and perhaps yours too, a path toward calm, one moment at a time. One evening, Emma found herself in a small bookstore, seeking refuge from another overwhelming day. The shelves were lined with titles promising quick fixes for stress, but none felt right. Then an old book caught her eye, its cover worn but inviting. She opened it to a page with a single line, "The bamboo that bends is stronger than the oak that resists." The words lingered, like a whisper from someone who understood her. Emma thought of her life, how she fought every challenge, every deadline, every doubt, as if she could force the world to bend to her will. But like an oak, she felt brittle, ready to break. The proverb, rooted in Buddhist wisdom, spoke of resilience, not through resistance, but through yielding. Emma's days were spent pushing against the chaos, a demanding boss, endless emails, the pressure to appear successful. Yet, the harder she fought, the more exhausted she became. The bamboo, she realized, doesn't fight the storm. It sways, rooted yet flexible, enduring because it adapts. This is the Buddhist teaching of non-attachment, letting go of the need to control what cannot be controlled. Emma began to see her stress as a storm, not of her making, but one she could learn to weather. She started small, practicing a simple exercise. When a worry arose, she'd pause, breathe, and notice it without judgment. "This is fear," she'd say softly to herself, or "this is frustration." By naming her emotions, she stopped fighting them. They became like clouds passing over a wide sky, not permanent, not her. This practice, drawn from mindfulness, helped her see thoughts as fleeting, not truths she had to obey. One morning, when her boss sent a sharp email, Emma felt the familiar tightness in her chest. But instead of spiraling, she took a slow breath, pictured the bamboo bending in the wind, and let the moment pass. The email still needed a response, but it no longer owned her. This shift wasn't instant, it took patience, like tending a garden. But each time Emma chose to bend rather than resist, she felt a little lighter. The proverb became her anchor. Strength lies not in forcing life to be still, but in moving with its flow. As you rest tonight, imagine yourself as that bamboo, flexible yet grounded. When stress comes, let it move through you. Notice one thought, one feeling, and name it gently: anger, worry, or hope. Let it pass, and feel your roots hold steady. Emma's journey deepened one quiet Saturday, when she found herself at a community center, drawn by a sign for meditation class. She sat on a cushion, unsure and restless, her mind still tangled from the week. The teacher, an elderly monk with a warm gaze, spoke of a lake still and clear, reflecting the sky without clinging to it. "Your mind," he said, "can be this lake. Let it settle, and you'll find peace." Emma's thoughts were anything but still. A missed promotion at work, a tense call with her mother, even the itch of her leg distracted her. Yet the monk guided her to focus on her breath, to feel the air moving in and out, slow and gentle. At first, it felt pointless. Her mind wandered, and she worried she was failing. But the monk smiled, saying, "There is no failure in trying. Each return to the breath is a step toward calm." This was the Buddhist practice of samatha, calm abiding, a way to steady the heart amid life's storms. Emma kept at it, setting aside 10 minutes each evening, sitting by her window, listening to the city's hum while anchoring to her breath. Slowly, she noticed moments of quiet, fleeting, but real, like sunlight breaking through trees. The lake in her mind began to form, not always still, but less troubled. One day at work, when a project fell apart, Emma felt the old panic. Instead of reacting, she closed her eyes for a moment, took a deep breath, and pictured that lake, its surface rippling but calm beneath. The urgency soft, and she responded with clarity instead of fear. Meditation, you see, isn't about emptying the mind, it's about making room for peace even when life feels heavy. For you, tonight, try this. Find a comfortable place, close your eyes, and breathe slowly. Notice the air as it enters and leaves, cool and warm. If your mind wanders, that's okay. Gently bring it back, like guiding a child by the hand. Let's do it now for a few breaths. Inhale, exhale. Feel your body soften. This is your lake, always there, waiting for you to return. Emma's practice grew, not perfect but steady, a small act of kindness to herself. As you drift tonight, let your breath be your anchor, carrying you toward rest. As Emma's meditation practice grew, she noticed something curious. Her mind was rarely still. Thoughts darted like restless creatures. Worries about work, regrets about a friend she hadn't called, even plans for dinner. The monk at the community center had a name for this, the monkey mind. a Buddhist term for the way our thoughts leap from branch to branch, chattering without rest. Emma saw it clearly one night, sitting on her cushion, trying to focus on her breath. Her mind swung from a work email to a childhood memory, then to a fear of failing. It was exhausting, yet oddly familiar. Don't we all know this monkey, jumping through our days, stealing our calm? Emma shared her frustration with the monk, who chuckled softly. "The monkey isn't your enemy," he said. "Watch it, learn its ways, and it will quiet." This was the practice of vipassana, or insight meditation, where you observe your thoughts without chasing or fighting them. Emma began to try it, sitting quietly and noticing each thought as it came. Planning, she'd whisper when her mind drifted to tomorrow, remembering when it lingered on the past. By naming them, she saw them for what they were, passing waves, not the ocean itself. At work, the monkey mind often roared loudest. During a heated team meeting, Emma's thoughts raced. Asterisk, what if I'm wrong? What if they judge me? But she paused, took a breath, and silently noted fear. The thought lost its grip, and she spoke with a steadiness that surprised her. This practice wasn't about silencing the mind, but befriending it, seeing its restlessness as a teacher. The Buddha taught that our suffering comes from clinging to these fleeting thoughts, mistaking them for truth. Emma learned to watch her monkey mind with kindness, like a parent watching a child play. For you, tonight, try this simple practice. As you lie down, notice one thought. Is it worry? Hope? Just name it softly, perhaps thinking or feeling, and let it drift like a leaf on a stream. Don't fight the monkey. Just watch it swing. Emma found that each time she did this, her mind grew a little quieter, her heart a little lighter. The monkey was still there, but it no longer ruled her. As you rest now, let your thoughts come and go, gentle as a breeze. Emma's life wasn't free of chaos. Work deadlines loomed, and a recent argument with her sister left her heart heavy. Yet in her quiet moments of meditation, she began to see something new. Even in the mess of life, there was beauty. She thought of the lotus flower, a Buddhist symbol she'd read about, rising pure and radiant from muddy waters. The mud didn't taint the lotus. It nourished it. Could her struggles, she wondered, hold a similar gift? This idea came alive one rainy afternoon when Emma sat in a park, watching raindrops ripple on a pond. She felt the weight of her sister's words, the sting of feeling misunderstood. But then she remembered the Buddha's teaching of the Four Noble Truths. Suffering exists, but so does a path beyond it. The first truth, dukkha, says life holds pain, loss, conflict, disappointment. Yet the third truth, nirodha, promises that suffering can ease when we let go of clinging. Emma realized she'd been holding on to her pain, replaying the argument, wanting her sister to see her side. What if she could let it bloom instead, like the lotus? She tried a practice of gratitude, writing down 3 things each day that brought her joy: the warmth of her tea, a kind email from a colleague, the sound of rain. Slowly she saw her struggles differently, not as failures, but as the mud from which meaning could grow. One evening she called her sister, not to argue, but to listen. The conversation wasn't perfect, but it felt lighter, like a step toward healing. The lotus taught Emma that pain doesn't define us. It's the soil for growth. For you tonight, try this. Think of one challenge in your life, big or small. Now, name one thing it's taught you, perhaps patience or courage, or even the value of rest. Write it down if you can, or hold it in your heart. Like the lotus, you are rising, even in the mud. Emma began to see her life's chaos as a teacher, not an enemy. Each small gratitude was a petal unfolding, guiding her toward purpose. As you settle into this moment, let your struggles soften and feel the quiet strength of your own growth, looming gently in the night. Emma's heart still carried shadows, even as she grew steadier through meditation and gratitude. She often judged herself harshly, replaying mistakes like the time she snapped at a coworker or ignored her mother's call. These moments left her feeling small, unworthy. One evening at the community center, the monk shared a new practice, metta, or loving kindness meditation. Begin with yourself, he said, for how can you offer peace to others if you withhold it from your own heart? Emma sat quietly, repeating the words, may I be safe, may I be happy, may I be at peace. At first it felt strange, almost selfish, but as she spoke the words, she felt a softening, like a knot loosening inside. The Buddha taught that compassion, starting with oneself, is a balm for suffering. Emma began to see her self-criticism as a kind of holding onto an idea of who she should be. Metta helped her let go, offering kindness to her imperfections. She extended the practice outward, picturing her coworker, her mother, even her sister from their recent argument. May you be safe. May you be happy. May you be at peace. One day when her coworker seemed overwhelmed, Emma paused to listen instead of rushing past. Their conversation was brief but warm, and Emma felt a quiet joy. Compassion, she learned, wasn't just for others, it healed her too, easing the tension she carried. The monk told a story of the Buddha, who once calmed an angry man simply by listening with kindness, showing that love can soften even the hardest hearts. Emma began practicing metta daily, a few minutes before bed, sending kind wishes to herself, her loved ones, and even strangers. It was like planting seeds, small but growing. For you tonight, try this. Close your eyes and say silently, may I be safe. May I be happy. May I be at peace. Then picture someone you love and offer them the same. Feel the warmth spread, gentle and slow. Emma found that compassion was a bridge, connecting her to others and to herself. As you rest now, let kindness flow through you, a soft light easing the weight of the day. Emma's days began to feel different, not because her life had changed, but because she was learning to meet it with new eyes. The Buddhist teaching of living in the present moment became her guide. She'd always rushed through her days, her mind half in the future, worrying about deadlines, or stuck in the past, replaying mistakes. But the monk had shared a simple truth. The only moment you truly have is now. This echoed the Buddha's words, that peace lies in dwelling fully where you are. Emma started small, practicing mindfulness in daily tasks. While eating breakfast, she noticed the warmth of her oatmeal, the subtle sweetness of honey, instead of scrolling her phone. Walking to work, she felt each step, the cool air on her skin, the rhythm of her breath. These moments, once overlooked, became pockets of calm. One afternoon, caught in a stressful work call, Emma felt her thoughts spiraling. She paused, took a breath, and tried a practice the monk called the 5 senses check-in. Silently, she noted the hum of her computer, the sight of her notepad, the feel of her chair, The faint taste of coffee, the smell of rain outside. It grounded her, pulling her back to the present. The call didn't vanish, but it felt less overwhelming. Mindfulness, she realized, wasn't about escaping life's demands. It was about meeting them with clarity. The Buddha taught that the present is where we find freedom, unburdened by what was or what might be. Emma began to weave this into her routine. Washing dishes, she focused on the warm water. Listening to a friend, she truly heard their words. Each moment became a chance to return to herself. For you tonight, try this. As you lie down, notice 5 things around you. Maybe the softness of your pillow, the sound of a distant car, the warmth of your blanket. Let each sensation anchor you here, now. Emma found that the present moment was a refuge always waiting. As you rest, let your awareness settle into this moment, this breath, this gentle now, carrying you softly into sleep. Emma's journey wasn't a straight path, but a winding one, like a river finding its way. She still faced long workdays, moments of doubt, and the ache of unresolved tensions with her family. Yet, through mindfulness, compassion, and gratitude, she'd built a quiet strength. The Buddhist Noble Eightfold Path, the monk explained, was a guide for living with intention, right view, right effort, right mindfulness, and more, all leading to a life of balance. Emma saw her practice as a journey, not a destination. She set a small goal. Each week she'd try one new practice, whether breathing through a tense moment or writing a gratitude note. One day, when her mother called unexpectedly, Emma listened fully, noticing her urge to interrupt, but choosing to stay present. Their talk wasn't perfect, but it felt honest. A step toward connection. The Buddha's path taught her that peace wasn't the absence of struggle, but the courage to meet it with wisdom. Emma began to see her life as a series of moments, each a chance to choose calm over chaos. She wasn't free of stress work still pressed, and old habits lingered, but she felt steadier, like a tree with deeper roots. For you, this journey is yours too. Start small. Pick one practice from Emma's story, perhaps naming a thought, offering kindness, or noticing your breath. Try it this week, just once a day, and see what shifts. The path is not about perfection, but presence. Emma found purpose in these small steps, each one a quiet victory. As you lie down tonight, imagine your own path unfolding, gentle and steady. Picture one small act of peace you'll try tomorrow, a pause, a kind word, a moment of gratitude. Let it settle in your heart. Emma's story is still being written, and so is yours. Join her and countless others on this journey of discovery. Share your own steps in the comments, and let's walk together, one moment, one truth, one breath at a time. As you drift now, feel the calm of this moment, carrying you softly into rest, ready for the path ahead.